Okay, students, hi, welcome to class today. Yeah, so I will continue from where I stopped last week. Last week I did recording. None of you came to class last week, so I still recorded the class. Okay, you guys can watch the recording. Yeah. Now I'm just going to do a bit of a short recap of what we learned in chapter 8.1 last class. Yeah, if you haven't watched the video, please go and watch back the part one video. Yeah. So, last week what we learned is biodiversity. This whole chapter is called biodiversity. And biodiversity basically means many types of living things. That's all. A lot of animals, a lot of plants, a lot of bacteria, microorganisms. Yeah. And last week's class was learning how to compartmentalize them because there's so many living things on Earth. So how are we going to library? Library, we have to group them, arrange them, right? Like on the books, you have to learn how to arrange the books based on subjects lah, interests lah, topics, and so on and so forth. Same thing. All the living things have to be classified. Yeah. So last week we learned about the classifying method. This is called the hierarchy. Yeah. This is in last week. You can watch the recording. Yeah, hierarchy system where you classify them, group the living things. Yeah, based on what we call the six kingdoms. And then from the six kingdoms, we will narrow down more from each kingdom. Yeah. And then the next one we learned last week is about identification. Basically, identification is giving you an animal. Let's say you find an animal on your hand. What animal is this? Like, what does this look like? Well, you can identify the name of this species just by looking at the physical characteristics. Oh, got six legs. Then you go to this identification. We call it dichotomous key. If you remember in Form 2, you have learned this. Yeah. Oh, six legs, more than six legs. Example. Has a backbone, has no backbone. Right? Go to number 2. Go to number 3. Go to number 4. Has tails, no tails. Understand? Yeah. So that's how you identify the animals. And third one is how we name them. Yeah. How we name the species using two words method. Yeah. We use the species name and what we call the genus name. This is called the binomial nomenclature system. And then last week we also learned about, so last week we start off by classification. Again, this is class, identify, name. Class means grouping, right? So last week we learned to classify the animals into 6 different kingdoms. Yeah. After we classify them, these are all in 6 kingdoms. This is still under classifying. So in every kingdom, we can split down to a smaller and more detailed grouping. Right? Let's say all the books in the library, you can group them as chemistry books, biology books, physics books, mathematics, general knowledge, right? Astronomy, example, history books, right? And then within the history section, you will have Malaysian history, you have one section, correct? And then Chinese history, another section, and then the ancient history, another section. Example. So same thing, yeah. In one, let's say sejarah, all the history books, then you break down to, let's say, sejarah tamadun China or sejarah dunia, and then from here. And tamadun China, then you have split down some more into different dynasty, example, right? And then this one, dunia, then it's split to different countries, and so on, so forth, basically. Yeah. So that is called the taxonomic hierarchy system. Next is this one, naming system using 2 words. Every species name will have 2 words, yeah, to name them. Now, next one is to identify animals or plants using dichotomous key. And I've given you a general view of this, of how we split, how you draw the dichotomous key. So last week we stopped here already. Yeah. Now, and then I gave you guys a homework to do this part. So today I will continue from there. It's just this one small part. If you are lost, never mind. Just follow now. Okay, you will get the hang out of it. Yeah. And then you watch the video, it will be easy for you. So you don't have to worry about that. Okay, Ken? Now, are you ready? With your pen, pencil, give me thumbs up if you're ready. We're going to start this part. Yeah, so we're going to use pencil. So when the question asks you to draw dichotomous key, came out in year 2021, I think 2021 or 2022, their essay question, bagian C, I'm not mistaken, they give you a list of animals, they ask you to draw a dichotomous key. So you learned that in Form 2 already, right? Now Form 5 Bio. So we have all these lists of organisms. Let's say I give you clownfish, butterfly, planaria. Planaria is a flatworm. It's a type of flatworm. Yeah. Ant, mango tree, fern, lizard, and a platypus. Yeah. Feel free to Google what they are. Now, next one is we're going to learn how to group, learn how to, what do you call it? Identify them. Okay. Using dichotomous key. So rule number one is I give you this one. This is not in your textbook. I pull it out, right? I generalize things for you. You can use your own method or you can use this method. Up to you. This method is the easiest one of all. Yeah, so you just follow this flow. Number one, the first grouping is are they plants and animals? If we have, we split them into plants and animals. So for example, in this case, we have mango tree, right? We have, that's all. We have mango tree versus all of this. Do you see this? Yep, sorry, we have mango tree and fern. We have two plants here. The rest are animals. So number one, we split based on plants and animals. Plants, animals. Yep, sorry, one still in number one, animals. Right? So plant, just going to draw dot, 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 dot. All right, now that we have, okay, students over here, we have two plants, right? So when we have two plants, we cannot write the two names there. We have to open another level by saying go to number two. So number two, we are going to split the two plants out. Right? Now, can you tell me the difference between a mango tree and a fern tree? What's the difference between a mango tree and a fern tree? So teacher, how am I supposed to look? So you have to think, right? Instead of think. Yeah, there's many ways. Another way is I give you a flow already. You look at it as a second level. You can split them based on whether they produce flower or they don't produce flower. Mango trees produce flower because they produce fruits. Fern trees do not produce flowers, right? So, flowering or has flowers, and then non-flowering. You see this? So with this, we have flowering, you have the mango tree or mango plant. And then non-flowering is your fern. Now that we have completed the plants, we are going to move into the animal kingdom now. So animal kingdom, we will start with, go to number 3. Let's begin number 3. Now, number 3, we have very interesting choices here. So many, and the students will get confused. And students say, oh, got wings, butterfly easy. Pull out, got wings first. You can do that. All right. But to be more organized and easier to find the answer and do not get confused, you follow this flow that I've given you. So animals, you split to the next one. You ask whether they have a backbone or has no backbone. Right? So you can put vertebrate or invertebrate, or we say has a backbone, has no backbone. Right? Has a backbone. Has no backbone. Teacher, if I put vertebrate, can I? If I put vertebral column, can. No problem. So has a backbone now. We split them. Has a backbone. Now let's look at this list over here. Clownfish, butterfly, planaria, and lizard, platypus. Who goes to got backbone? Has a backbone. Fish got bone, right? Backbone. Lizard is a reptile. And platypus is a mammal. All these 3 has a backbone. So now that I have 3, I have to open a new one. Correct? So we go to 4. We ignore this one first. Let's complete one level by one group by one group. So we go to number 4. Has a backbone. I have the 3 animals here: clownfish, lizard, platypus. And then in my leveling over here, I told you already, all right, how to split them. Can I write fish, amphibian? Cannot. You cannot write that, unfortunately. You have to write characteristics that is observable and obvious. Okay, amphibian is not an obvious thing. Say, hey, how does the animal look like? Amphibian. No. What is the characteristic of an amphibian? That's what we want. So this is just the general. So now, let's look here. Clownfish, lizard, and platypus. If I want to pull one of them out, what characteristics I can use to pull one of them out? Warm-blooded, cold-blooded, correct? So you have fins and no fins, can? You can go fins way, you can go warm-blooded or cold-blooded. Correct or not? Okay, let's say fins. Then it be clownfish. How else you can pull the fish out? Has gills. Then put gills. Has gills, has no gills. Okay? So you can choose either one of these. This is just going to use. So fins is correct. I'm going to put gills, because some students never thought of putting gills. So I just put it here to train you all a bit. Okay? Has gills, has no gills. You can put fins, yeah, no problem. So as gills, this one, I can isolate clownfish out already. So it has no gills. I need to pull out these two, which is lizard and platypus left. Yes, no? So when I have lizard and platypus left, I have to open go to number 5. So number 5 over here, lizard, platypus. Reptile mammals. What can you tell me? Anyone? You know what's a platypus? Don't know. Google now. Google. Mammals have fur. Very good. Lizard is not furry. Imagine a hairy lizard. Right. So there's no fur. So you can put has fur and has no fur. Understand? It's just yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. So body covered in fur or body is not covered in fur. That's all. Okay. Has fur. Has no fur. Can I put lay eggs and doesn't lay eggs? Can or not? Can I put lay eggs and don't lay eggs? Boleh tak? Why cannot? Platypus, although it's a mammal, platypus is one of the mammal that can lay eggs. Thank you. Yeah, correct. Senfeng, you're right. Yeah. So has no fur will be lizard. Done. We are done with the backbone. Backbonus. Okay, next up, we go to has no backbone. Has no backbone. We have butterfly, planaria, and ant. So which means we go back to this one. Go to, where did we stop just now? Number 5. So now we go to number 6. Weird animal, poor thing. They're just happily living their life. Here we are calling them weird. All right, now let's go to butterfly, planaria, ant. This is easy because I've broken them down for you to see as well. So we have no backbone. The next criteria for the no backbone, we can clearly split them into 2, legs and no legs. So over here, we see vision has legs. Ant got legs, butterfly got legs, right? Because they're all insects. Insects have legs. Planaria is a flat worm. Worm has no legs. So has no legs, has legs, has no legs. I got legs. I have ant butterfly, which means I have to open up go to 7. Has no legs, planaria. Next up, we have number 7. Ant and butterfly. Ant and butterfly. So we go over here, okay, have legs, ant and butterfly. Ant and butterflies, usually legs, we can split them to 3 pairs of legs. That means 6 legs, insects, and more than 3 pairs. But how? Because ant and butterfly both have 3 pairs of legs. So you have to think a bit lah. So think a bit. Has wings, exactly. Another way. So this one you have to be creative with it. Because I really cannot split out everything out for you. There's just so many possibilities, so many probability of characteristics that you can list down. Correct? So this is you have to be on your own a little bit lah. Yeah, has wings. Has no wings. Okay, there's one more. There's the past here they ask the difference between penguin and a sparrow. They ask you to split them after that. After a while, everything easy, until your type, at the final part between penguin and sparrow. This is where students really have to sit down and think like, Oof. So what would you write? Penguin and sparrow. Or penguin and regular bird. Oh, you're right. Somebody say, oh, penguin got fur. No, penguin is actually feathers. Yeah. You saw the, okay, yeah. Okay, has no wings. will be, what's it just now? Enter. All right, yeah, it's actually down to the feet, right? Penguin's feet is like duck like that. It's like duck. Sparrow, like any other birds with a claw. So penguin one is this. Now, this one really separates those students who really know and those who do not know. And this is called, the answer is called webbed feet. W-E-B-B-E-D, webbed feet. Teacher, how am I supposed to know this one? This one really, it's not supposed to give you that mark because you really can't think. So it really splits out those who deserve that mark. The duck feet thing, you cannot write that, right? Has the duck feet thing, does not have the duck feet thing, I cannot. So it's called webbed feet. There will be one or two questions like that. Okay, so done. We are done with the dichotomous key. Okay, so let's move to today's class. Okay, all good? Give me thumbs up first so far. Nice. Now let's get ready for today's class. So biodiversity. Last time in Form 2, you measure biodiversity, which means the variety of living things on Earth, right? Whether animal, plants, or microorganisms. So today, we are not going to go into grouping them like last time. Birds, amphibians, mammals, we are not going through that direction. We are going through how to measure it. Like example, Malaysia is considered mega biodiverse. Out of the 20 something, I think 50 something, 20 something countries, right? 27 countries, not mistaken. Yeah. Out of these 27 countries in this whole world, Malaysia is one of them, and it's called not only diverse, we are considered mega diverse. The question is this: how do we know that that country should be considered mega diverse or not? I should what? I should give what? I should give a measurement, right? I should give a formula to measure. Put all your species into this formula, right? Put all your species and observation and all into this formula and see whether you are considered that certain level of mega biodiverse or not mega biodiverse. Yes, no? Right? So you are going into this level today, the analytical way. But we are not going to go into formula for you guys. Form 4, Form 5 is just introduction, just to know what concept there is to measure. That's all. Yeah. So biodiversity can be measured in 3 ways. We can measure in terms of genetic diversity, second, species diversity, and ecosystem diversity. Now, just whenever you think of this, right, think of the word diversity means different. Just think of it as different, right? So when I say genetic diversity is such a powerful word, right? You just say different genetics. It's basically it. So basically, simple. Me, you, Sheila, Zenfong, 3 of us. Let's say, right? 3 of us, right? Do we have differences in genetics? What do you think? Yes or no? Do we have differences in genetics, or are our DNA all the same? Got or not? Is our DNA the same? Exactly the same? Do we look alike? Hello. No, right? Right? Me and you don't look different. Me and you look different because we have different DNA. Our DNA same type, but different coding. So there is some genetic diversity over here already. You see? So we can measure even in a small different location, let's say KL area. If you split them into different parts like Taman Desa, Kuchai Lama, OUG, or Mid Valley area, different areas, if you look at the people who stay there, they have different genetic diversity as well. Some place with more races, some place with more of one race and lesser of the other races. Correct? Yeah. So we measure the genetic diversity. We see which race is more diverse in terms of genetics. You see that? So what's genetic diversity? Is basically gene variation. The more types of races you have there, or the more types of different bird species you have there, I say that you are more biodiverse. Yeah, of course, put into a formula, right? So gene variation within the population of the same species. Must be same species. You cannot like, oh, this area, got all full of, let's say, Chinese people, and then got a lot, but we got cats, we got dogs, we got all sorts of animals here. No, we're looking at the same species only. Yeah, understand, not? So we also refer to the generation, also can be variation between the population of the same species. That means population A in this area versus B in that area also sure got some genetic diversity. So basically, just to tell you that no two individuals will have the same gene, same what do you call that? DNA. Even me and you, even you and your brother will not have the same. Even identical twins, there will be some slight differences in DNA. You see that not? Now, question is this: why? This one they might ask you: why will there be differences? Why is there difference between me and you? Can you tell me? In terms of biology, a lot of students will say, right? Oh, yeah, you got different parents, ma, correct? No, you got different father, you got different mother. I got different father, I got different mother. Correct? That is correct. But in terms of biology, why are we different? Yeah, because there is few phenomena that happen during meiosis. Yes, no? Meiosis, all right? The first one is meiosis 1. Prophase 1, there is a crossing over. That one creates a genetic variation already, some diversity there already. Next one, during meiosis, remember the phase where the chromosomes align, homologous chromosomes align at the equator, equatorial plane, right? Metaphase 1, they arrange that, 2 up here, let's say 2 down here, 2 down here, right? This is one form of arrangement. Another form of arrangement is 2 here. The second one, this one, they can swap position, right? So when they swap position, the cells that I get will have a slight variety already. You see that? And thirdly, when men produce sperm, you produce all different types of sperm. Female produce ovum, they produce many variety of ovum. So any of these sperm, when fertilized with different ovum, you will produce a different individual, different human, right? So all this reason creates diversity. So it's very hard, very hard to get two individuals with the exact same DNA. Not possible. Yeah, very near to 0%. Yeah, so the reasons for this, let's go to the first one first. Crossing over during prophase 1. Take note, take note in exam. Okay, take note of this. Crossing over during prophase 1. Second one, remember this one? I say these two can pair up with these two, and then these two can pair up with the other two during metaphase 1. See, teacher might get confused. We will see this again in genetics chapter. Okay, so this arrangement, we call it independent assortment during metaphase 1. Independent assortment. Independent means independently, that means they don't depend on each other. Okay, that means it's a simple word, suka hati, as they like. Assortment means arrangement. Basically, they like to be like that, or they can be like that, up to them, they want to arrange. Yeah. Third one is what causes variation? There's random fertilization. That means any sperm can fertilize any ovum and give you a new variety. Yeah. And then next one, you have mutation. Mutation, maybe radiation strike your DNA, change your DNA a little bit. That's a mutation. Last year you learned spindle fiber did not split properly, the child will be Down syndrome. That is a form of mutation. That's why the child looks different from all of us. Yeah, next up. Another one. Another reason is this thing called isolation. Isolation within the same species. Do you know that there's this island called the Galapagos Islands? Yeah, there's a lot of islands over there. So last time, you said that they were all from the same island, right? And then geography, all right, changes have split this one into many different locations, right? So all the birds that were there, they were from the same type of bird, but because you split them so far away already, and then different part here, you have different kinds of plants. Maybe this area here have a lot of fruit trees. This area have a lot of trees that produce nuts. This area has a lot of insects, for example. Yeah. So when I have different parts over here, over time, these birds here, these birds here, their next generation, they will have to learn how to modify their body. They have to learn how to modify their beaks, their claws, their size for hunting. Yes, no? Yeah. So if you eat fruits, for example, then probably you need, I'm not too sure which one is for fruits here. Let's say this one. Okay. Then they'll evolve to have beaks like that. So if they live in area with nuts over here, with a lot of trees that produce a lot of nuts, then they need to eat the nuts. So they have to produce like bigger or thicker beaks that can crack the nut open. You see, they're all from the same ancestor, but because of isolation, splitting physically, geographically, they will have to learn how, the next generation have to learn how to adapt to survive in there. So that creates variety already. Do you understand me? Do you understand this story here? Give me thumbs up if you're okay. If not too sure, just type NS not sure. Can understand, yeah, where I'm coming from, yeah? Yeah, so because of this separation geographically, it forces the individual to change and adapt to their environment. That's all. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen humans, there's a lot of these cases. It explains why city people are different from orang asli. Yes, there are certain tribes in Indonesia, in Philippines, in Korea, right? They go deep diving. Their lung capacity increases. Our lung capacity different. No need to say so far lah. Your friends who are athletes or you who are athletes compared to people who are not athletes, there will be slight difference already. You will have more mitochondria. They will have less mitochondria. Something like that. Yeah, you have adapted to your daily activities already. Yeah, but this is only just you lah. But this one I'm talking about generations. Generations until you create a new species. You see, the original one, right? Original bird, right? Okay, has split so many generations, so many changes until to form this one, right? That this one and this one, if sometimes they were to mate, they cannot produce baby anymore already because they're so far modified from each other. There can be this case as well. Yeah. Okay. Now, that's all. That's all for genetic diversity. Just to tell you, this part is just to tell you there is variation between us, one species. And we call this variation in DNA a genetic variety, gene diversity. Yeah, Malaysia compared to, let's say, which country? Let's take a simple Myanmar and Malaysia. Malaysia, because so many races in Malaysia, our genetic diversity is higher, right? Chinese marry Malay, Malay marry Indian, Indians marry Chinese. So there are a lot of mixing of, then you produce even more variety. So our genetic diversity is very high compared to certain countries like Myanmar. They only have the same type of race and then they interbreed. They only produce that type only. Understand? Yeah? So next way to qualify whether my country is diverse or not, we look at your species. Not, you cannot just have, oh, I have a lot of animals here, but all your animals, oh, it's only that two types only of animals. So we don't say you're diverse. You have a lot, yes, but diverse, no. You see the difference? Yeah? So species diversity means the variation. All right, variation is many types, 很多种, yeah, of organisms on the earth. Yeah. Now, how do we measure it? We look at two things. We look at what we call species richness. How rich is that species? That means that one species, let's say that type of cats, how many of the cats you have in this country? That one tiger, how many of the same tiger you have in that country? The more you have, okay, good, plug it into the formula. Right? Next one is species evenness. What's the meaning of even? Even means how they distribute in the community. Okay, sorry. Species evenness is the, just now I said that one. Sorry. Let me rewind. Rewind. Species richness is the number of species, not number of animals. Sorry, number of species means how many different cats you have. Okay, let's say this country we have only one type of cat. Number of species, 1. But in this another country, you have 5 different species of the same cat. We say you have 5. Okay. Number 2 distribution is how many of the cats you have. How many of the different species that you have. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So let's look one by one. Okay. Let's see over here. Look at community 1 and community 2. Yeah. which of these has would you consider as more biodiverse? If you were to give a choice, which one would you say is more biodiverse? Why? Don't they both have the same species richness? Okay, what do you mean by that? Teacher, look here. Okay, how many types of species we have here first? How many types of species? How many types of different plants we have here? Come, Sanfong and Sheila, come. How many different types? Four, right? One, two, three, four. Right? Four different types. So we're going to say that both richness is in the same level. But let's look at evenness. Evenness means distribution, means basically the number of animals of the species. Okay, so species evenness. How many dark green do we have? We have four. Cone, four. Light green, four. Wider tree, four. So let's say 4 to 4 to 4 to 4. 1, 1, 1, 1 lah. Right? So the next one we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 11. Then this one I have 2. This one I have 2. This one I have 1. You see? So with this, they will plug into the formula. Plug into a formula where you count, and see whether the area is biodiverse or not. Of course, from here, we know that this is very biodiverse. Why? Because this one can last longer. This one, if anything were to happen to this plant, gone, cannot reproduce, my number will drop to 3 already. Yes, no? And it will affect my formula again already. Yes, no? Yeah? So community one is said to be more stable in biodiversity. So there is a formula used to measure them using these two main topic, richness and evenness. Yeah. So it allows scientists to compare different habitats. Understand? So far so good. Okay. Next. Thumbs up if you understand so far. If you understand that to measure it, right? We need this. Have you reached this chapter, by the way? Have you reached chapter already? Chapter 8? No. Okay, then you can teach your friends already. Okay. Next, ecosystem diversity. Now, what is ecosystem diversity? Basically, I have so many types of animals, but I only have a river. And all my animals is in the river. Very good. You're very diverse. Good. But if I want to add more points to your diversity, if my whole area is just river, I can only be river species, correct? So how do I add more? By having more habitat. Do you agree? If I have a mountain over here, wouldn't I add more different type of species here? Right? What else do we have? This is high mountain. If I have forest here, I will add another different group of species here. If I have mangrove swamps over here, then I will add another group of species. If I have the ocean or a sea, these two will be different species altogether. Not altogether, but will have a lot of different species. Even fish also got freshwater fish and saltwater fish. Correct now? Yeah? So, teacher at Oxy now. Okay. So you see, so the last part, you want to add to diversity, then a country, they will consider you need to have a very high ecosystem diversity. It is basically the variety of your habitat and a variety of your ecological processes. Water cycle, your carbon cycle, your nitrogen cycle, your phosphorus cycle, all these processes. The more process you have means you have a lot of organisms that depend on each other, right? Whether on land, on sea, or other aquatic environment. Yeah. So what's the importance of having so many habitat? Well, which is a good thing. More habitat, you see this one very human already. You see humans are trying to find, okay, how does it help me? Oh, a lot. Okay, good food, good types of soil for me. Or high mountain, they might have limestone soil there. Okay, good for humans. See, all good for humans, right? Provides us with gas, right? We have this. You have sea, like Malaysia has a lot of petrol, right? Because we have the ocean over there, we have the animals that die over there, right? So it gives us gas. Okay, more rivers, then you have transport. More flatlands, even better. right? You can have source of energy from that. It increases your decomposition. Decomposition is breakdown of all the living things. Yeah, can be used for recreational, education, and as historical sites. These are the few importance of having different ecosystem. Okay, done. Now, do you need a break, or we can move on and move on? Okay. Maybe you take 10 seconds. Okay, let's flip back and see what we have learned so far. 3 ways to measure biodiversity: genetic, species, and ecosystem. Right? Now, next thing, to study the life on Earth, a lot of humans would ask the question. A lot, maybe you did not ask, but some people would ask, or maybe you have asked before in your childhood. Why do human and monkeys look so similar? Why do humans and monkeys look similar? Why does the orangutan look similar as orangutan and gorilla? They cannot have children, but why do they look similar? Where do they get their body parts from? Exactly. So this question triggers biologists to find where we come from, right? Why do we look the way we do? Do we as humans have the same body, same ancestor as the monkey? So this is what scientists, evolutionists, all right, trying to figure out by using evidences in this world. Yeah, whether true or not, science is basically hypothesizing and theorizing using this. Wow, Brian now only enter. Wow. Okay, so to conduct your tree and to see where we come from, the tree of life, we call it the phylogeny tree. Philo comes from the word phylum, means grouping. Geny comes from the word generating, producing, creating. It's basically where do these groups of animals come from? Yeah, so that tree of life where we see we are all connected to one another, how do they build it? Have you seen before? Here, right? This is one example of phylogenetic tree. This is considered very simple. Okay, the real one is it can go as complex. The real one can go as complex as this. Yeah, every color is that one species that branch out to many different types of species. And this, we are only talking about birds only. We haven't even entered the mammals part yet, right? So this phylogeny tree is very important because scientists always want to find relationship between different animals and see whether we are related. It's just like you want to draw your family tree, right? You want to know, oh, who's my cousin? Who's my direct cousin? Right? Am I closely related to this cousin or I'm closely related to this cousin? So you draw a tree, right? The further you are, then you guys are from same ancestor, yes, but the most recent ancestor is different. Maybe you and your direct cousin come from same grandfather. Another cousin come from another grandfather. You see? But their grandfather have shared the same father. Example. You see that now? Right? So this tree helps us to find how related we are in this world, in this life. Can or not? We call it the phylogeny tree. So if they ask you, what is the importance of phylogeny? Let's go to the meaning first. Phylogeny is the history of evolution of species in a group. Sorry, or evolution of species or a group of species, a group of species that are genetically linked. Guys, we look at your genetics as well. Yeah, not just your features. Yeah, it is the hypothesis of the evolution relationship. So hypothesis, that means like it's a early guess lah. We guess, but actually now it's slowly moving into theory. Theory means confirm already. Yeah, hypothesis on the evolutionary relationship of one group of animals of organism. Let's say we group us and a cat together, and then we build a tree from that. How related we are to a cat, for example. Yeah. So they ask you, what's the importance? What's the importance? Use back the words here. To know. Number one, history of evolution of species or a group of species. Okay, to know the evolution relationship of us. One is to know my history. One is to know whether, and now I know history. Do I know your history? Are we related to each other? Now they have this technology where they take your DNA and then they tell you all about your DNA, your ancestor, and then a lot of people keep doing, also want to find out about their ancestor, and then everyone donate, and then they realize that, oh, my cousin is, this is my cousin, that one is my cousin, this colleague is my cousin. Yeah, it's a whole database collection of all your DNAs. Okay, who knows? Maybe some of your classmates could be related to you. You never know. Yeah. So how to prove evolution? Okay, we look at what we call the branch diagram. This is what we call a branch diagram. Okay. Classify based on Now, how do we classify them? How do we group them? Mainly, we look at what we call homologous structure. Homologous means same, similar structures. Okay, let me ask you. A cat and okay, let's say cat and a bird and a butterfly. Who is more related? Which two is more closely related? Which one do you think? Cat, bird, and butterfly, if I were to give you a choice. Which two are closely related to each other? Come, try first. Answer first. Okay. One of you say that. Another one? Come, just take a wild guess based on your understanding, your existing knowledge. Okay. Tricky, right? So see, you also asking, right? Which angle should I look at, right? That's what is in your mind, right? You say, it's like, so which angle should I group them? Should I group them based on, do they live on land, or are they insects, or non-insects, or backbone, no backbone, or do I look at the ability to fly? How do I group them, right? You start to ask a lot of questions. That's what the scientists ask as well, right? So they finally come out with one. They say, guys, we are looking at homologous structure. Means what? Structure which is same internally. Body parts that are the same. So at the end of the day, cat and bird is more related than bird and butterfly. Wow, wait. But bird have wings, butterfly have wings, correct? Shouldn't they be the same? Now, if you to zoom into the wings of a bird, all right, it's not a bird, it's a bat, but quite similar. All right, they have very similar structures, like the structures of a cat. Whereas the wings of a butterfly, there's no bones at all inside. There's no bones, right? Cats, you see, humans have humerus. Humerus, 1, 2, 1 group, 5. Cat, 1, 2, 1 group, come out, fingers. Whale, 1, 2, 1 group, here, long fingers. Bats, 1, 2, 1 group. Do you see the similarities? It really asks question one. Really, if you open the bones of bats and be like, wait, they have the same number as humans. 1, 2, 1 group, here. Right? So it makes you like, oh no, bats are more closely related to humans because of these bones that we share in common and the repeating pattern of bones. Right? Yeah? Whereas butterfly have none of this. So it's like, butterfly cannot enter here. Correct or not? Yeah. So these structures is what we call homologous structure. It means these structures have similar body parts or anatomy. similar body parts in many organisms that share a same common ancestor. So it doesn't matter what you use the bone for. You see, these structures can have different functions. Look here. Bats use this same arrangement of bones to fly. Whales use the similar pattern to swim. Cats to walk. Humans to hold things. You see that? Yeah. So we might have different function, but how do we evolve in such a way to produce that one, two, one group, few jutting out, and then fingers to do our work? That is the question that scientists ask. You see that? Interesting, right? So interesting to know. One. Second thing is remember. Now exam focus. Okay. What is homologous structure again? If they were to ask you, write down title. Okay. Homologous structures are similar body parts that come from the same ancestor and they can have different function. Highlight. So here give you already non-homologous structures. Homologous structures. Wings. Why? Birds, insects got wings. Same function, but internal structure different. So definitely they are so far apart into that end. Yeah, they'll probably share more characteristics. The butterfly probably share more with ants and all with wings. Yeah, so to format in building phylogenetic tree, these are just the overview, right? Same goes to plants. People will be like, hey, these two plants, do they have similar, where do they come from? Or do they just pop out of nowhere? Or do they evolve from something? Because these plants look different from this, but they share the same thing. They can carry out a photosynthesis. So they have to pull back and ask the question, where did they learn how to make photosynthesis? Right? Like where you learn how to do this must be you learn from somewhere, right? Your friends, your parents, wherever. Example, correct or not? So where did they learn how to carry out photosynthesis? Then they go back here. Where did they learn how to carry out photosynthesis? One. Where did they learn how to make flowers? This one. Where did they learn how to produce seeds? Where did they learn how to make xylem and phloem? Someone must have started it. So it really pulls you back and far and find other organisms on Earth and really examine every organism on Earth to pull and create this whole tree. You see that not? So this one, they realize this one does not produce flower, this one produces flower, but both have seeds. So it comes from an ancestor, a group of plants they managed to find out. Okay, the plants branch, the ancestor here starts to produce seeds because this ancestor is different from other ancestor which does not produce seeds. And those who do not produce seeds, they will continue to reproduce and branch out to form this group of plants who does not produce seeds. Your ferns, your moss, all will be under this category here. Okay, sorry, moss is up there. Sorry, your ferns and the other types of ferns, right? So seeded plants will be here. And then you have all your mango tree, durian tree, all under here. Yeah, and if you trace back, right? Trace back, they come from these plants that produce seeds and no seeds, they have something in common. They have xylem and phloem. They have xylem and phloem. So where do you learn to make xylem and phloem from? So go to this group of original ancestors who learn how to adapt by making xylem phloem. Maybe because they're on land and then they grow very tall. They grow very tall against gravity. You have to start building supporting structures, right? And special longkang to carry things in your organism, right? And then you have these plants who has never evolved xylem or phloem, and they have evolved xylem and phloem. But what do they all have in common? They can undergo photosynthesis. So if you trace even far back, it all began with just you, the algae, right? You see that? And then for algae, you can go further back somewhere, you can even go further back. Yeah, that's how they build the phylogenetic tree. You understand so far? Give me thumbs up if you understand so far. Are you fascinated so far by this? Fascinated by the hard work that they put inside. That is the, right? Good. That's the whole point. right, to make you ask this question. Feel free to go and read up about it. I read a lot last time, but in my university days. So now I wish when you read, go ahead and continue reading if you like it. Okay, now what is this? Okay, this is just an example, yeah, of the whole phylogenetic tree, yeah, and all these letters are organisms. So question here, which of the following organism is closely related to D? Who is the closest related to D here? Guys, I'm sure you know by now. There, C is the closest, right? C, yeah. Right. Can you do the next one? B and C. Can you do B and C? Okay, which is the most common ancestor for A, C, and E? So A, C, and E, the most common ancestor is Y. X. E, sorry, E is down here. Right? Yeah, X will be the most common one. Right? Next, which one is more related to B? D or E? Well, of course, it's D. Right? Is B more related to D or E? B more related to species B. There, easy. Can? So next, finally, we learn so much. What is the importance of biodiversity? Well, importance of biodiversity, again, it depends, right? Who you ask. If you ask for the plants themselves, if you ask for nature itself, why do they want to be diverse? Well, when there's more of them, there's more source of food for nature, right? More of them, they can have more balances in nature. I don't just all the grasshopper rely on this grass. Grasshopper can rely on another type of grass. When you have more different species of grass, so grasshoppers can eat different variety. You see that or not? If one extinct, I can eat another type. You see that or not? Yeah. So what else? I balance my carbon cycle, my oxygen cycle, my water cycle, my nitrogen cycle. Yeah. And then for some type of animals, they are a source of medicine. Right? Now, if you ask in the form of human, in a human perspective, well, human perspective also have begun to use this one long time ago already, right? Using plants, different variety of plants as a source of medicine. Aloe vera for skin, the ginger for gas, for wind, for absorb air. And then you have garlic for antibacterial properties. You have bunga raya. You have Madagascar, this kind of purple color Madagascar flower that can apparently to treat cancer. Yeah. So for humans, what else is to education and for research, further education, further research is in the angle of humans. In the angle of humans also provides us with a lot of recreational places. Malaysia, because of being so biodiverse in ecosystem, we have what? We have, tell me all the different nature attraction in Malaysia. In 10 seconds, type as many as you can. Go. All the nature attraction. The names, if you remember. Cape Royal Belum, one, represents the forest. What else do we have? We open islands. Islands itself. We have so many pulau already. Yes, no? Pulau Redang and Tioman and also. Right? Tanah Tinggi, highlands. We have so many different highlands already. Right? Gunung Kinabalu, you have Genting, you have caverns, you have phrases, right? And then caves. Malaysia have a lot of limestone caves. Do you see that not? Right? All the different gua we have. Yeah, so different recreation places. We get to enjoy so many different, but sometimes we take it for granted, right? Some countries only have that one place to go to, one or two. You have so many different variety. Okay, so next part is learning about conservation. How do we take care of this biodiversity? Well, there's two ways to take care. One is we take care of them in their original habitat. We call this in situ conservation. That means maintain the species in their natural habitat, national park, forest reserve. Another way to take care of them is to pull them out from the habitat. For example, like let's say panda. Panda endangered, right? So some people, if you put panda to conserve them in a natural habitat, maybe they cannot survive. So you need to take them into the zoo and force them to breed and then put it back into the wild, right? So that is called ex situ. So you preserve them out of their natural habitat. Take care of them outside first. And then later you put them back in the natural habitat. Yeah, if you expect them to breed, they'll be too lazy. Why do I need to make babies? Right? So humans don't want them to extinct. Okay lah, okay, force you to make babies. Understand, right? Yeah. All right. Now, 7:03. Let's go to latihan. Okay, latihan, the answers I'll give to you guys because we haven't discussed fully yet, right? Oh yeah, this also you haven't do yet because you haven't watched the video and do the homework. Then never mind lah. I move on to the next part lah. I move on to the next part. I'm gonna give you a short break. Now 7:04. 7:04. We can take 3 minutes break. 7:07, right? And then we come back to this. Any questions so far? Okay. Hi, welcome back. 7:07 already, students. Okay. Let's come back, everyone. Come back, come back, come back. Okay, back ready, Brian there? Thumbs up if you guys are back. Okay, so we have done with how to measure biodiversity, right? Yeah, see, yeah. Let me show you the idea again. Yeah, right? How do we measure biodiversity here? Right? And then the concept of it, right? And then next is how do we relate biodiversity back to the ancestor? Right? And then that's all. What's the importance of biodiversity? Right? Now, next part is we're gonna take all this living thing, all this living thing, and we are going to move away from what you can see with your eyes. You have learned fish, amphibian, reptile, birds, mammals, and all this backbone, no backbone, all this you have seen with your eyes before. Now we are going to go into this group where we always ignore them, and we are always scared of them, right? And we're trying our best to sanitize them. So this world that you have never learned before in Form 1 to Form 3, maybe just a 1-2 name only, right? We're going to go a little bit deeper into this group called microorganisms. Yeah? Microorganisms, the whole world that you cannot see, they are all over you. Just because you cannot see them doesn't mean that they don't exist. Yeah? So this branch of biology, they work with, anyone know what's the name of this branch of biology called? Anyone knows? You learn it from 4, chapter 1, first page. What is this world, what is this field of biology called, where you study bacteria, virus, protozoa, fungus? It is called microbiology. Understand? Yeah, these people, okay, no one has worked, no one has touched more microscope than this group of people. Yeah, the microbiologists. So let's study the micro world. Yeah, so there are organisms that cannot be seen with your naked eye. So you need to use a microscope. Sometimes they're so small, you need to use an electron. Actually, know that. Okay, you see microscope with a light microscope, virus with a light microscope. But sometimes you want to see a little bit more, you use electron microscope. And there's many types of electron microscope. But we're going to focus on the 5 main things, 5 main microorganisms. Yeah? Notice that virus is split out from here. Why? Do you know why? Because virus is actually not an organism. We'll see later. Yeah, but for simplicity's sake, we put them under 5. First one we're going to look at is the bacterial world. Not much, just a little story on them. Bacteria, and then we're going to move to, let me follow my flow. We have the protozoa. Proto means early, zoa means animals. The early animals. What do you mean? Maybe these animals hypothesized they evolved from this single cell organism called protozoa, right? Who enter different habitat and then they start to grow multiple cells from there. Okay, next we have the fungus world. Most of the time, you only know fungus are what? Mushroom, yeast. Correct, right? Bread mold. These are all fungus. Next, we have 1, 2, 3, algae. Algae, okay. And lastly, virus. The 5 big groups of microorganisms. Yeah? Notice this, your syllabus, only this much only. Very little only, you don't touch microbiome much. The art stream, their science are one whole chapter on microbiology. One chapter on microbiology for them. Yeah, okay, they learn how to sanitize it, how to kill, use what to kill and all. Right? So you guys just know what they are. So first one, bacteria. Bacteria. Now, bacteria, they have nucleus without a membrane. Now, do you still remember what do we call? Oh yeah, you did not attend the class, you didn't watch the video. And all organism, all right, with a nucleus without a membrane means the cell of the bacteria, usually nucleus, the material will be trapped inside a nuclear membrane, correct? Theirs is not. Their genetic material is free floating one. Is it? Free floating. Yeah, so this is a nucleus without a membrane. Can? And this kind of organism without a membrane in the nucleus, we call it, where? Let me write here. Prokaryote. Please watch last week's videos for this. Let me turn on the light first, yeah? Okay, brighter for me. Okay, so some bacteria, they have plasmids. What is plasmid? Plasmid is the extra DNA they have in them. Sometimes they have 2 types. One type is the general DNA. Another one is the circular DNA. This circular DNA, right? Actually, very interesting. This circular DNA, some of them they store their antibiotic resistance gene inside them. Gene that can fight against antibiotic, they can store in there. Right? These are called plasmids. circular DNA. They carry extra G. Can? Now, the length 1 to 10 micrometer in the micron stage. Yeah. Basic shapes. Bacteria, we group them and we name them based on their shapes. If they are spherical, we call them coccus, pneumococcus, staphylococcus. There. Coccus, when you say like that, it means you know already. People say the microbiome world, when you say coccus, you know it's circular, right? Then you have vibrio, like comma shape. What is comma? Like that, comma. Like, teacher, this looks more like a sperm than a comma. Like that lah, with a head and a tail. Comma, you know comma? One fine day, comma, right? So vibrio. So when you say vibrio cholerae, that causes the disease cholera, then you have vibrio shape. Vibrio means you know the bacteria is this shape. Bacillus. Bacillus means it's a rod shape. Lactobacillus, example. Okay, lactobacillus. Lactobacillus means what? This bacteria has something to do with milk, lactic acid. All right, and then they are rod shape. This one. You have next one. You have this spirillum shape, spiral shape. This spiral shape. Yeah. So they can exist as a single cell, one cell, or some bacteria like humans are, some people like Lone Ranger, some people like pair up together, right? Some people live in a group, or they live in a chain, or they live in a group, or live in terms of filaments. Filaments is long chains, like basically. Yeah. So you have that. So these ones are circular. Circular, we call it, circular. Spherical, we call it coccus shape. These are rod shape. Rod shape is called bacillus. Rod shape is called bacillus. This one, comma shape, is called vibrio. Vibrio. Next, spiral shape, spirillum. Spiral shape is called spirillum. Can? That's all you learn about bacteria. You just know this group. Teacher wants to learn more. Form 6, you will learn more detail if you're interested. A levels, you take biology, you will learn definitely. All the types of bacteria, all the grouping, the naming, the structures, everything. Yeah. Next up, I remember studying microbiology for 1 semester, which is 3 months of microbio, I took, right? That was the most OCD month, 3 or 4 months. 6 months. Was it? I think it's 5 months of microbio. That was the most OCD period. It was fun. Don't get me wrong. I love microbiology. I had a really, really fun lecturer. That was the most OCD because once you learn about bacteria, right? Wow, everything you see around you is bacteria. Doorknob also you get to touch. You have to sanitize every area. I remember going crazy that whole 6 months because the more you study, the more like, oh no, I'm going to fall sick. I'm going to die. As you realize that, it's fine. Okay, now let's go to the second group, which is bigger. Okay, these protozoa you have seen for amoeba, a paramecium, a euglena, a chlamydomonas. All of these you've seen before, you heard before. Yeah, they are called protozoa. Proto means early, zoa means animal. That's why it comes from the word zoa, comes from the word zoo, comes from the word zoa. Zoo means animals, right? So the early animals. So again, they are one cell. All of them is one cell, the early animal. Why do we call them animal? They don't look like my cat. My dog don't look like them. So why do we put an animal? Because they have animal-like characteristics. You are an animal. Sorry, got taken aback. Okay, yeah, we are all animals. So you can move. They can move. You can reproduce. They can reproduce. You can eat. They can eat. Right? You are sensitive to your environment. They are sensitive to the environment. Light comes here, they move away. Example. You see that or not? So these are the few characteristics. You can respire, they can respire. Yeah. So how do they move? Well, you humans use legs to move. You humans. We humans use legs to move. They have to modify lah. Some will use pseudopodium. Some will use cilia. Some will use flagellum. So let's find if I can see any of this. Okay, this is a pseudopodium. I'm sure you know by now. Pseudopodium. This is cilia. Yeah, all these are cilia. Flagellum. This is flagellum. These are flagellum. The rest I'm not sure. There's cilia over here. There's flagellum over here. Some sort of cilia over here. This one I'm not too sure. Why are the worms here? Not too sure why is this here. Ah, what is this? Oh, this is wait, this is Plasmodium. Not too sure. We'll get back to you. Okay, so you have so this kind of protozoa, how do they eat? Well, they can be heterotrophic. Heterotrophic means what? They eat other things. They eat other organisms. You and me, we are heterotrophic. We eat other things. Some are autotrophic. They make their own food. From the word here, how to remember? Trophic comes from the word troikos, which means nutrition. Hetero means other. It means your nutrition is from other. You eat others to get nutrients. Trophic means nutrition, right? Nourishment. Auto means self, sendiri. Sendiri membuat makanan sendiri. Understand? So you break them down, you will understand it better. Can ya? Let me say something just now. I forgot what I was saying. Anyway, oh yeah, here, live in aquatic habitat. So aquatic doesn't mean sea. It can be a river, it can be water, it can be a pond, it can be just a small tiny patch of water in the soil. Yeah. Next, we have algae. Why does the E go small? Hey, the E goes bigger. Okay, so we have the next group called algae. Now, out of all the five, this one is the one that does not cause disease. Why do you think they do not cause disease? Because they can make their own food. So they attack you for what? There's no reason for them to attack you, right? So unicellular, they can be multicellular. Unicellular, such as Chlamydomonas, or they can be multicellular, such as Fucus. Yeah, or you can also call Spirogyra. Remember Spirogyra? Remember in Form 1, you learn this kind of long, oops, sorry. Yeah, long Spirogyra, right? And then it goes like circle inside here. Structures here. Spirogyra. It's just crisscross. Okay, so some of them have flagellum to move, flagella, like this, flagellum. Okay, I can actually put this one down. Flagellum. Okay, autotrophic. All algae are autotrophic, self-feeding, self-eating. Yeah, no leaves, no stem, no roots. That's why you cannot put them on the plants. They are the early plants. So you see, so far you have to group them different group, right? Habitat, aquatic, anywhere with water, right? No water, we got algae. Algae needs water for photosynthesis, correct? Okay, next up, this world. This world, right? Mycology, the study of fungus. Fungi, the kingdom called fungi. Now, fungi looks like plants, but they are not plants, mainly because they have no chlorophyll or no chloroplast. That means they cannot make their own food. How do fungus breed? How do fungus live and eat? They need to digest. They need to get nutrients from somewhere else. So we call them heterotrophic. Okay, heterotrophic. Now, heterotrophic means you eat from other source. When you eat from other source, we can put you into few lah. Got three. You can learn two first for now. The first one is you eat from the living. Like some people have fungal infection. The fungus gets nutrients from the living. You are still alive. Another type are like your mushrooms. Mushrooms, they obtain the nutrients from the dead, right? The dead tree, then you see the mushroom growing on it, right? So these are saprophytes. But teacher, I've seen some growing on the tree, and then those are parasites. Understand? Yeah? No leaf, no stem, no roots. That's why cannot photosynthesis. Yeah? Cell wall. The cell wall is not made up of cellulose. Their cell wall is made up of this carbohydrate complex called chitin. Chitin. Say chitin. Chitin. Yeah? Now, they exist. How do they exist? They exist in a network form. You see? This network form is called mycelium. Notice this network actually extends up to here. Doesn't it look like some kind of a alien predator kind of like creature where the structures just forms a living thing, right? Yeah. So this whole structure, okay, actually they're forming a living thing over here. So it's a whole network. They call this a mycelium. Mycelium. Say mycelium. Okay, they form mycelium. And this mycelium is made up of 一条一条, one string, one string. It's called hyphae. Now, this whole thing mycelium, one of them is called a hyphae. Apparently, fungus have a hive mind. Have you heard of hive? Have you heard of hive mind? Have you heard of that before? It's the meaning of hive mind. It means they're in a way like connected, interconnected, right? Like say like all these creatures have a hive mind, means they have like all connected to a main boss or something like that. Okay, it's not a tube. A hive means a collection of same-minded thinking. For example, like in this case, so they are all connected. So this fungus and other fungus in the forest, let's say, they can be connected underground. There's a huge underground network where all the fungus in this forest, they are interconnected with one another and they're constantly communicating with one another. There's a documentary on fungus on that. Very interesting. You can actually watch it on YouTube. Yeah. Okay. So if like something happened in this part of the forest, right? The fungus from that side of the forest would know it because of the whole interconnected underground. King, all right. So where do they live? They don't need light, so they want to move away from the light. Right? So they live in dark place or damp places. Dark and damp is the best, right? Damp means moist. You need water also, right? Yeah, and also you can find them on dead and decomposing organisms. Understand? Just to show you, this is called a braid mold or known as mucor. This is called a mucor. Mucor known as braid mold. They call it, right? They grow on your braid. Yeah, they grow on your braid. So this head over here is called a sporangium. So this sporangium, when they will produce spores out, every spores, when they fall down, they will grow into a new fungus head, new organism. Okay, that's how they breed very fast. And lastly, we move for today's class. Lastly, for today's class, we go into the last microorganism that is not in any kingdom because they are not a living thing. Remember, they are not living. They macam living, but they are not living. See, they are not cellular organisms. No cell, virus is not made up of cell. It has no nucleus. It has no ribosome. Nothing. All right. So, how do they eat? They don't. They don't eat. They do not need nutrients to thrive. Interesting, right? So, how are they? How do they what are they in the first place? What are they? They are basically two things. They are basically a shell of protein called a capsid. Sounds like a cap lah. Okay, a cap. You wear a protective cap. And then DNA materials. DNA or RNA. We call them nucleic acid. Nucleic acid got two branch, right? DNA, RNA. Right? That's all. Nothing. Mitochondria, none of them is inside there. How they move, there's their own mechanism in there. Yeah. So they only reproduce in living cells. So it's not like other organisms they need to find partner and all. No. This one, if they found a cell that is living, how do they reproduce? They just protein enter here. They inject your DNA into the living thing, enter the nucleus of a cell, and mind control the cell. Basically, making your cell produce and read their DNA for them. When you read the DNA for them, you produce the parts of the virus out. So they turn you into a virus making machine. That's how they breed. Yeah, that's why people with HIV, people with any viral, right? The virus will attack your DNA and cause you to produce more of them. They can do that. Yeah. So do not carry life does not carry life process outside of cells. Okay, so they are made up of two things only, nucleic acid and capsid. Example, now students teacher, do I need to know this one? I think you better know this example, huh? Okay, this is called the tobacco mosaic virus. They attack tobacco plant. You know, tobacco is the smoking one, they make cigarettes. Now, another type is called, pronounce this word, bacteriophage. But teacher is pronounced as phage. A non-living thing can breed. Yeah, this non-living thing can breed. It's quite amazing, right? Yeah, we haven't even gone through the next one, which is not in this syllabus lah. Okay, gone through another one, which is a protein that mind controls cow's brain. A protein that can activate and can cause damage. Yeah, on itself. Yeah. Now, this one is bacteriophage or bacteriophage. Yeah. Basically, this virus only attacks one thing, bacteria. So, attacks bacteria. So now you know how small they are. Now you know how small they are. So if a virus is this small, let's say a virus is this small, right? Bacteria is this big. Bacteria is this big, right? And then you have your amoeba this big. So you see the size difference. Actually, amoeba can be even bigger. Okay, you see the size difference? Amoeba, sometimes they eat bacteria as their food. Can? And then you have HIV. Now, can you tell me another virus that look like this? Do you remember any virus that look like this? COVID, exactly. COVID-19 virus. Yeah, they are also this one. This is coronavirus. These are corona because they have a crown, a sharp stick poking out. Crown-like virus. Can? All right, so 7:30, just ngam. Right, so again, a very quick run through. We learned about three concepts of biodiversity today: genetic, species, and ecosystem. Right, and then we learn how to relate all the living things together using a tree called phylogeny, based on what? Based on homologous structures. Understand? And then we learn about the importance. We learn about the 5 main group of microorganisms. Can you remember the 5 microorganisms that we learned today without looking at the notes? Type it out first. Let's do a short recap. What are the 5 group of microorganisms first? Step 1. Algae, bacteria, so protozoa, fungi, and virus. Okay, is there a way I can make something too easy to memorize? Cannot, right? BAVPF. Okay, cannot. Let me find if there's a way. All right, so tell me which one of them you all type out for me, B, P, F, A, or V. Tell me which one of them it can be classified based on their different shapes. Can be classified based on their different shapes. Type in your answer. Yes, bacteria, right? Now, which one is made up of an underground network called mycelium? Answer. Fungi. Yeah? Fungi. Now, which one lives in the water? Which one lives in water? Protozoa, algae. More than one, right? There's more than one, right? Protozoa, you have algae, right? Some bacteria might be there, right? Okay, quite tricky over there. Okay, so we stop here. That's all. You see, that's all the microbiome you will learn. Now, next week, just to let you know what we're going to learn next week, we're going to learn how this microorganism is good and bad. So we're going to look at the good thing of how microorganisms help us, and you can look at how microorganisms can also harm us. Yeah, and then that's all. Very simple study of microbiome. Can? Okay, so we stop here. Homework, please do the questions related to until page 19. Yeah, no need to touch nitrogen cycle yet. The good and the bad of virus, bacteria, no need to learn. Everything else do. We discuss the next class. Can? All right, students, thank you. I'll see you guys. Class end here. I'll see you guys next week, same time, same day. Thank you, students.
Thank you, teacher.
All right.